Hello students, today we're doing lesson 4.4 and it's more work with equations. So this is just going to get a little bit harder, have a couple more steps in it, but it's basically once you simplify the equation, it's going to look the same as all your other equations. So we only have a couple of examples for this one. Example 1, you're going to solve this, 3x plus 2 plus 5x minus 7. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do on this one, it looks a lot longer, but we're going to combine the like terms. So that's what you always should look for first in equations. So I have a 3x and a 5x, and I have a 2 and a negative 7. So I'm going to combine those like terms. So 3x plus 5x is 8x, and 2 plus negative 7, or 2 minus 7, is negative 5, or minus 5. And that equals 28. Okay, so once I did that, it's the same thing as we've been doing in solving two-step equations, is I'm going to add 5 on both sides. And so then I get, this will be 0, so I get 8x equals 33. And then I'm going to divide by 8. So notice if you put that into your calculator, 33 divided by 8, you would get decimal points. I don't want decimal points, so I'm going to leave it as a fraction. 33 over 8. And that's my answer. So all your answers do not come out to pretty low numbers. Sometimes you get some crazy fractions. So that's okay. We're just going to work with it. Okay, when you check on these problems, you have to check with the first equation. It would be so much easier if I could use this equation to check, right? But if I made a mistake going from here to here, the check might come out correct when my problem really is wrong. So you always have to use your very first equation. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to rewrite it over here just for the sake of the notes. On your actual work, you do not have to rewrite the equation with the x's in it, okay? Well, I do that so that you can see that I'm putting this x into this x. So I'm going to have 3 times 33 over 8 plus 2 plus 5 times 33 over 8 minus 7 equals 28. So see how I put everything 3, and then that's the x, 2, 5, and then here's the x, minus 7, and 28. Okay, so now I'm going to solve this. I'm going to do my times first. This is order of operations. So that's going to be 99 over 8. And then this times 5 times 33 over 8 is 165 over 8. Minus 7 equals 28. Okay, and now I'm going to add my fractions together because they're both already have the same denominator, and that's just the easier way to do this. So I'm going to do 99 plus 165, and that gives me 264 over 8. Okay, and then I'm going to see if I divide 264 by 8, if I will get a whole number. And I do. That is, so I'm going to write down the rest of this stuff. Okay, and then I'm going to do this on my calculator, and I actually get 33. So that came out nice, right? Now I need to do 33 plus 2 is 35, minus 7 is 28. Okay, so that check and that work was a little bit harder because it had a fraction. But I wanted to show you one that has a little bit harder because you do have problems with fractions in them. Okay, let's go on to example 2. Now, example 2 has distributive property in it. So we have 4 parentheses, x plus 5 into the parentheses, minus 3x equals 24. So what I have to do in this one is I need to take my 4 and distribute it out. You can't solve this problem with the parentheses in there. So I'm going to have 4x plus 20 minus 3x equals 24. Okay, now I'm going to add my like terms. So I'm not ready yet to solve. I still have like terms here, the 4x and the negative 3x, which gives me 1x which I just write as x. So x plus 20 equals 24. So see, I just brought down the 20. It didn't have a like term. You can't add anything with, I can't add this 20 with the 24 because they're not on the same side. So you can only do that when they're on the same side. So now I can actually solve this problem. I'm going to minus 20. And that will give me x equals 4. And I'm going to box my answer, and then I'm going to go over here to check it. Now to check it, remember I'm going to use my original equation, which I'm only writing to help you with your notes. Okay? And now in place of this x, I'm going to put a 4. So I have 4 times 4 plus 5 minus 3 times, oh, I forgot there was an x over here too. So I want to put the 4 there also, equals 24. Make sure that when you have these things that are right next to each other, that you always put the dot in for it, so that, for times, because you don't want to put the 3 next to the 4 and think it's 34. Okay, now I can solve this problem. And to solve this right here, this right here, I do not need to do distributive property. What I need to do is add the inside, the parentheses, which is 9. Okay, so remember your order of operations. You're going to add inside your parentheses. Now I have a lot of multiplication, so I have 36 minus 12 equals 24. And that's right, 36 minus 12 is 24. Okay, that's it for that problem. Okay, the last example, let me make sure this is the last example. Yeah, the last example we're going to do is an actual word problem, and it's a very long word problem, but it is the example that's in the book. So let's go ahead and write it. We're going to say John's mother, let's abbreviate that to John's mom, is 4 times as old as John. Okay, John's mom is 4 times as old as John. And John's brother is twice as old as John. So let's say John is 2 years old. His brother would be 4 years old, right? He's twice as old as him. Okay, so now we know his mom is 4 times as old and his brother is twice as old, or 2 times as old. That's what twice means. And now it's going to say if you find the sum, so remember what sum means, that's a key word, of their ages, and add 3, you get 80. Okay, so see, I told you this problem was a long word problem. Okay, and then it's going to say, what is the age of all 3 people? So they want to know the mom's age, the brother's age, and John's age. So here's the easiest way to do that. We are going to make a plan of attack. Okay, we just read the problem. There's a lot of unknown. There's 3 unknowns, right? Because we don't know the 3 people's ages. But we can't solve it with an X, a Y, and a Z. We just want one X. And that's going to be John. We're going to start with John because he's in every one of the problems, right? So we're going to say J is John. So what is mom? Mom is 4 times as old as John. So she's going to be 4J. And then we need to know what brother is. So we read the problem. It says brother is twice as old as John. So he's going to be 2J. Okay, now we know what they all are. John is J, mom is 4J, and brother is 2J. So how do I make an actual equation? Well, now that's where I'm going to read this part right here. If you find the sum of the ages and add 3, you get 80. So how do I find sum? I add up all their ages. And here are all their ages. So I'm going to add those up. J plus 4J plus 2J. And I have to also, remember this right here, add 3. So I'm going to add 3. And it says it's going to get, you're going to get 80 from doing all that. So now I need to solve this problem. So I did all the work. I have a whole bunch of like terms to add right here. So J, which is 1J, plus 4J plus 2J. That gives me 7J plus the 3 equals 80. Now look at this problem. It's just like all the other problems. I'm going to minus 3 on both sides. And that gives me 7J equals 77. Now I'm going to divide by 7 on both sides. And that gives me J equals 11. But I'm not finished with the problem. This actually told me to do all 3 ages. So I know John. John is 11 years old. Okay, so now I'm going to look up here. Let me put this up here, and I'm going to figure out the other one. So mom is 4 times J. So I'm going to do 4 times 11, and I'm going to say mom is 44 years old. And then I have to find out the last one, which was his brother, and his brother is twice as old. So brother is 22 years old. And that is my answer for this problem. All of that, okay? Not just the J equals 11. Okay, so if you just wrote that down, you missed out on 2 of the other answers. So make sure that you read the problem and make sure that you look at what they're asking you for. Up here it says, what is the age of all 3 people? Okay, that's it. They have some other ones on converting decimals and fractions, but I'm not going to have you do any of those right now. Okay, so that's it for today.